Let me tell you something. The old saying goes, it just bees that way sometimes. But for Travis Frederick, when we think about Tyron Smith, when we think about Zach Martin, for these guys not to get a Super Bowl, man, and it's not saying that there was a massive failure per se, but for players of this caliber not to get a Super Bowl, man, it just makes you feel some type of way. It does. It does. I mean, when you get players who were literally this good, it was literal insanity. And when you got players like Zach Martin, you got players, and unfortunately Travis Frederick, there was nothing nobody could do about his issue. But when you got Travis Frederick, when you got Zach Martin, you got Tyron Smith, you got Dez Bryant, you got some of these players. I mean, you got to really load up around that quarterback, especially when you got him on that rookie deal. You got Zeke on that rookie deal. Man, you got to load up so that these players like Tyron Smith, man, they don't go out like this. Tyron Smith, top 10 all-time offensive lineman in Cowboys history. 13-year career. He's only 34. Tyron Smith was such a monster. This dude was drafted at 20 years of age and has been dominant in this league. Tyron Smith is the only player that I could think of that was so dominant that we all know the last 6 to 7 seasons, the Cowboys, he was with the Cowboys. We all knew that Tyron Smith was not going to play a complete season. I mean, we all knew Tyron Smith wasn't going to play a complete season. But he was so dominant, man, we were willing to say, hey, man, if you could just give us 10 to 12. You give us 10 to 12 games this season, we're going to keep you on those big contracts. Tyron Smith was a monster. Tyron Smith was an absolute monster. Physical specimen. Not being funny, but a physical specimen. I mean, if you saw Tyron Smith out of pads, I mean, this dude his muscle build was crazy. He was crazy strong, and it was one of the reasons why he was such a dominant player on the field. Dominant left tackle, man. I mean, he was crazy with it. And it says now 34 on the heels of a failed season with the New York Jets. Smith will announce his retirement at a press conference at the Star. He'll walk away from football as one of the best offensive linemen in franchise history. He's going to walk away from this thing as one of the best offensive linemen in NFL history. Tyron Smith was really that good. Of course, they're talking about he'll be in the Ring of Honor, check. He'll be in the Hall of Fame, check. 5-time first and second team All-Pro, 8 Pro Bowls, a member of the NFL 2010s All-Decade team. Tyron Smith was an absolute monster. I mean, and when you get guys like him, man, you just hate when they don't get a Super Bowl because you know they were just that talented. But again, it's also kind of a testimony to how Jerry Jones throughout it's been ever since Jimmy Johnson. Jerry has been able to get these types of players, but he has never been able to put the teams around these players that could get them to where you know arguably that these players could have been dominant. I mean, it says right here, it says he never played in an NFC Championship game. We know he didn't. We know he absolutely didn't. And again, that's not a Tony Romo thing. That's not a Dak Prescott thing. It's, again, one of these things where Jerry failed by not putting together teams around players like this. It was the same thing with DeMarcus Ware. Never putting together the kind of teams that you should be putting together when you have these type of high caliber players. It's a shame. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Because you just want guys like Tyron Smith, great guys, did it the right way. You just want these guys to go out with Super Bowls. Again, I mean, it's just a travesty. It is. It is. Alex, what's going on with you? Good to see you in the chat. I'm telling us. Big Dal, what's going on? 8604, what's going on with you? I mean, it's a travesty, guys, when you have guys like this. They don't get those opportunities to win those bowl games. I mean, it's crazy. Bleeding Blue, he says top 10 O-lineman in NFL history. And when he was drafted, he was the youngest O-lineman ever drafted. I mean, it's crazy when you think about it. It's crazy when you think about it, Bleeding Blue. How does a guy like this, and it's a rhetorical question, we know how a guy like this doesn't get a Super Bowl. It's not Dak, it's not Romo. It's the fact that Jerry has these type of players. And the Cowboys, one thing they've done, they've drafted well. Where they have failed and where they seem to be trying to make up for it is where they failed over the years. They've never played in free agency the way they should. They've never played in free agency the way that they should. They've never played at the trade deadlines the way that they should. And even in the draft, well, we've had some hits. I mean, everybody's going to hit and miss in the draft. But we've just omitted putting together some of the pieces that should be in between these kinds of pieces. But again, the Cowboys, for whatever reason, and I think one of the reasons why they're doing some things different is they're turning the corner. It seems like we're watching another transition. 30 years ago, we watched a transition from Tex Schramm, Tom Landry, and that entire regime to Jerry Jones, Jimmy Johnson. And they needed to make sure that the best way to transition is winning. And so what we're watching now is the transition. At least it seems. The transition from Jerry Jones to Stephen Jones. And so they're doing some things they've never done. They're doing some things they haven't done in a long time. And this is the reason why, for me, I'm excited about what the Cowboys are doing, because some people, it's like, we know the Cowboys aren't bringing in quote unquote players they're not bringing in absolute dominant players, but they are bringing in players that with the right coaching, the right scheme, they can be somewhat dominant, and they can be the pieces in between those very, very good pieces. You need that. That's how you build championship teams. They're changing the culture. They're bringing in players. So again, because we don't want this to be Michael Parsons in 10 years. We don't want this to be Dak Prescott at the end of his career. We don't want this to be CeeDee Lamb at the end of his career, because right now that's the big three on the Cowboys. We don't want this to be Osa Odigizua at the end of his career. We don't want this to be the tail of the tape for some of these players who may play on this team 10 plus years. And again, this thing with Tyron Smith, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's just sad that when you get players like this, man, look at this. Travis Frederick, man, let me tell you. Travis Frederick was on his way to being one of the most dominant centers in NFL history. Travis Frederick was that good. Sadly, the career of the most dominant center in Cowboys history was cut short by Guillain-Barré syndrome. He made 5 consecutive Pro Bowls before succumbing to the disease and retiring after 7 seasons. I mean, when you think about Zach Martin, Tyron Smith, and Travis Frederick, man, that was crazy. That was crazy. It was. And they have Tyron Smith at number 4. Boy, man, you got to be good to be, man, this dude Eric Williams was an absolute beast. Tyron Smith, they have him at number 4 on the list. Wow. Wow. That's all I can tell you, man. That's all I can tell you. But, man, salute to Tyron Smith. I was one of those people, even when the Cowboys let go of Tyron Smith. I'm just telling you, man, Tyron Smith was so good. Even when the Cowboys let him go, I was so reluctant to let him go. Because I was like, man, if we could have Tyron Smith for just nine dominant games. Tyron Smith, to me, was that dominant that the games you could have him healthy for, man, I wouldn't mind. I was like, man, this is the type of dude you want for a playoff run if you could get there. But again, Tyron Smith is retiring.